time to build a waterfall for this koi pond. Now what we have planned is a multi-leveled terracing style waterfall that'll work its way down into the pond and aim towards the house. It'll give a lot of audio and visual appeal. Now we've lowered the water level in the pond so that we can start down at the bottom, and that's the first tip that we have for you. 90% of the time, we're going to be building our waterfalls from the pond and work our way up towards the top of the waterfall. I don't want that to drop below water level. Yeah, that's good. Okay, when we started excavation on the pond, we had set the waterfall back about 6 feet, and this right here is grade around the entire pond, and then we drop down into that first bench where the bond beam is at. Now when we were excavating, we were taking dirt from the pond and we were throwing it in front of the waterfall, and what this essentially is doing is creating a small mound for us to start carving our waterfall off of. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start to carve a little bit more and establish the spots where we're going to put the rock work. I'll spray paint a little bit what I'm thinking. So typically I plan on putting some kind of substantial rock to each side of the waterfall to frame it out. So I'm going to definitely want to dig this out. You can see the dirt's fading away here. We're going to take this dirt and put it up here. Where the rock work is tying back into the pond is about here. So this is the area that we have to work with. The same on the other side. I'm going to make room for a good sized rock here and then take it back towards the pond. Now it might look a little square at the moment, but as we start to pull this dirt out and reserve it on the outsides of this paint, we can set our rock work. We can bring a little bit of more dirt back in and backfill it to make it look right. So let's go ahead and carve this out a little bit. I have a lot of extra liner here from the pond, and what I want to do, my first thought is the pond's very circular, so I want to carve in a little and create this little notch where the water can come in, so the physical pond will extend in past that circle up on this coping stone edge. So that's the first thing we're going to do, expose that bond beam. Let's go ahead and dig down and get to that bond beam right there. That liner. So now you see how this comes into a little cove right here. That gives it a neat little look. Let's pick out some rocks so we can do a couple frame rocks right here. 1, 2. Oh yeah. Easy. Ooh. Let's not let it go in the pond.
I wash my toesies.
You ready? Good. Go. Okay, I'm putting down some underlayment, some fabric to protect the liner. Remember, we have the concrete bond beam right below us, and we're moving a pretty heavy rock, so we don't want to drop it too fast, and we definitely want some padding on top of the liner while we maneuver this big guy in. You ready? Easy, easy, easy. Oh, my foot slipped on that. Okay, now let's let it fall down easy, like that. Easy. 2, go. That's all right. Go. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's look at it from across the way. See how this is nice and flat and has this effect here. We have to go across the way and look, and then we can determine whether we want to move it one way or the other. Okay, let's do that. So now that I have this rock set, when I first put it here, I had a couple different thought processes going on. Am I going to have water coming over it? It would look real nice. It's a nice flat edge, has a nice cut on the end. Water would spill off it quite nicely. Since this is a multi-leveled or terracing waterfall, this also makes a great split stone where we can have water come around different angles. And now that I have it in place, I think that's the direction that I want to take. We're going to have water come through a gap on this side, and we're going to have water come in through a gap on this side, and this will be a nice focal stone to separate the two waterfalls. Now, one point I want to make out is, if you want the waterfall to look very natural, we want to make sure that you're a little bit unbalanced, you're uneven. What we don't want to do is take a split stone and place it right in the middle of the spillway. Currently, this is just over 12 inches on this side. It's about a 12 to 14 inch gap. And on this side, we have about a 3-foot gap. So it's going to have a really neat contrast by having a larger spillway on this side than on that side. So now that we have this one placed, I'm probably going to maneuver it just a little bit, and then I'm going to start finding the next stones that'll fall into play.